What do you do when it's raining too hard to work in the garden? Well, of course, you work in the greenhouse. Hi, today is Sunday, March 14th. Welcome back to the greenhouse. A little wet outside. You might even hear a rumble of thunder during this. The really good part about having a compost pile, you have your dirt right outside the door. The really bad part about having a compost pile, you got the dirt right outside the door. And on a day like today, it means I got to get even wetter just to get a little dirt. That's gardening. I was able to break away yesterday and go to a seed sharing event.
Sione God. Hello everyone, my name is Kara Cowan Watts and I'm glad to be here with Waylon Smalley. So this is our inaugural seed exchange for a private Facebook group of Cherokee citizens that I personally know, or maybe Melissa knows. And I'm just excited that we came together, we shared our seeds, we shared some of our heirloom seeds that we maybe have gotten from the tribe and had extra. And so today was about sharing our love of plants and even some of our traditional Cherokee plants.
I know there are a lot of gardening groups out there and a lot of them like to share seeds. We all share our knowledge. If you go on Facebook, you can probably find a group that's close enough to you that you can get involved in one of their seed sharing programs.
So I'm glad you're here with us today. Sorry you couldn't be with us in person, and we hope you come to our next event whenever we decide to do that. Whatever.
For those of you that's been following the documentary of this garden, you know we've been blessed with a bouquet, a gaggle, a group, a batch. So I decided I'd go ahead and donate quite a few of those, way more than I can use. One of the things they insisted I take away was some bare root trees. So today, while it's raining too hard outside, let's go ahead and get these in some containers, get some water on them. Come on, let's plant. Just like all the container planting that we do, we put a little of the compost in the bottom of the containers. Now we'll go ahead and add the plants. Oh yeah, by the way, the grass really likes growing in the greenhouse. I haven't put a floor down yet, but I'm gonna have to here directly. That will be in an upcoming video. But for right now, you got some bare root trees that need to go into some containers. So just like everything, take the roots apart, be very gentle pulling the roots apart. Kind of center it up, get your roots down in here. Get some of your finished compost, just lay it in here. You really only want to put the compost or your soil up to about the crown. That would be this part. Just about where the roots start flaring out. That's all the deeper we're going to plant that. The thing about planting with compost, you can pack it, what seems like packing it in pretty tight, but it's still pretty spongy. It'll allow those roots to grow really well. These are still dormant. We're going to go ahead and leave them in the greenhouse. I don't want them to start breaking and have the weather get cold on them. Here's a bigger example. That's going to be about the limit of the container that I have here. I'm going to dig down just a little bit. That'll be right at that will be right at the top. That should be just fine. Let me go ahead and get the rest of these in containers, and then we can look at some of the other things. Now that it seems like the rain has let up a little bit, and I'm good and wet, let's go ahead and get some seeds in containers. At the seed exchange, I met a nice young man, Brandon. He was giving out Oklahoma native seeds to help attract pollinators. We sure wouldn't mind having some more bees and some more butterflies. There's a whole variety here, so I'm just going to mark these as Tribal Alliance. Aside from the seeds that they were giving out to everybody, Brandon gave me a nice little mix because I showed some interest. There's a couple different size seeds. You can see here, these are big enough that you can feel them. One quick update on the onions we planted before the polar vortex. We brought them in the house right when it was starting to get really cold. Everything sprouted in the house. They were looking okay. Then they succumbed to the heat register. They didn't like the house heat. Now the red, I think we're going to be okay. We got a couple of the yellow. Now the long day didn't like it at all. Being a documentary, I told you I'd show you the good with the bad. Uncle Jim sent a couple sweet peppers he thought we ought to try. Well, not really sweet, more like hot, hot, hot. That's all I'm going to label them as. He'll leave a comment down below and let us know exactly what these are. Jim also was kind enough to send along some Thai basil. I think it's going to spice up our cooking quite a bit. Alright, Jim sent some peppers. I will let them go ahead and dry in the house, and that way we can get some of the seeds out. I'm going to give you one row here. See how these do. Crack this open. There's quite a few more seeds in this one. Got quite a few seeds here. Yeah, these are hot. I can smell them. They smell hot. We're going to go ahead and save the rest of these seeds. And Jim, we'll see what we get. A couple of the varieties they gave me at the seed swap. We're going to try a couple of these gourds, and we're going to go ahead and get some heirloom tomatoes going. So come on, let's plant. The dipper gourd seeds are pretty easy to see. We're just going to put one in each one of these. The apple gourd seeds are just about the same. Let's get some squash going. Now we eat a bunch of squash. Since I don't like to thin out, let's go ahead and just put one in each one of these cells, see what we get. Now Black Beauty zucchini is one of my favorites. I'm going to do a couple rows of that. I'm going to do little pak choy. And we'll try to get a couple tomatoes going. I'll put a couple in each one of these. Come back and add a little bit of fresh compost on each one of these. Alright, everything's covered up. That side's good. Guess it started raining again. Go ahead and get a little water on the trees and then we'll be done. Even though these are dormant, this still helps settle that mulch in around them. I want to thank the Cherokee Seed Exchange. I want to thank Brandon from the Tribal Alliance. And I want to thank Uncle Jim. But we got quite a bit more planting to do. What do you do on a rainy Sunday day? Come out to the greenhouse, get your hands dirty, play with some compost. I want to thank you for stopping by the garden for a visit. And remember, until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant. Let's go plant garden.